Don in London, hello. February 13th, 2010. My video is all about recovery from addiction to either substance or behaviour, and also recovery from expectations of life. So my substance of addiction, alcohol, so I'm in recovery one day at a time, and that makes sense to me. And also behaviour, the addictive behaviours that went with drinking, workaholic, relationships, materialism, you name it. My expectations were so high of trying to achieve that level of perfection I always wanted, or thought I wanted, because that's what I thought you wanted. So bedevilled by expectations, followed by resentment at not being good enough, or an underlying fear of something, and I never knew what it was. But it turned out to be fear of being found out as not being adequate, or actually being okay to be alive and on the planet and fulfilling a life, because I was always judging myself by other people's standards, or the standards that I thought society was setting. And the answer is, if we've got expectations, well, we'll get resentments as well. So the best thing is to, as I start my day, consider that expectations are to have a day of learning how to be me. So who am I? Don in London, in recovery. What makes it possible? Well, for me, recovery is made possible by family, friends and community, and sticking to a fellowship which helps me understand that sober comes first, so the rest of life can happen. And I can be a part of it, I can be included, rather than isolated, excluded by my behaviour, either drinking or just not being able to cope. And as often is said by those who have some handle on what is spiritual, they often say it's the ability to cope with reality, to cope with what is happening now. So spiritual is living in the moment of now. What a relief, because I was always looking for what spiritual might be. But sober comes first, and what helps me most with sober is the fellowship of AA. And in the fellowship of AA, we have a statement of intent, or the AA preamble, which is shared at every meeting. And I say it here, and I read it, rather than recite it. And in the reading, it slows me into the moment of now. So here it is. Alcoholics Anonymous is a fellowship of men and women who share their experience, strength and hope with each other, that they may solve their common problem and help others to recover from alcoholism. The only requirement for membership is a desire to stop drinking. There are no dues or fees for AA membership. We are self-supporting through our own contributions. AA is not allied with any sect, denomination, politics, organisation or institution. Does not wish to engage in any controversy. Neither endorses or opposes any causes. Our primary purpose is to stay sober and help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety. So by the time I've read that, I remind myself the only requirement for membership is a desire to stop drinking, and our primary purpose is to stay sober and help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety. So it's a message of experience, strength and hope. And has been said to me, or written to me over the last couple of days, when people look up to us, or maybe are trying to think we have the answer, the answer actually always lies within the person. And it does no good to put a person on a pedestal. And that applies to people in fellowship, or me, or anybody. We're just simply all human on a human journey, or we are spiritual beings on a human journey. However you want to look at it, we all have our unique, authentic take on life as it is today, in this very present moment. And the gift of all of that is that although we are unique and authentic, we're not special and different. So we all get our wisdom from wherever. Sometimes it comes from within, and more often for me it comes from other people. And then of course we all have our own take on what we learn in the moment based on our life experience. And you know, for an addict or alcoholic, substance or behaviour, learning how to be new to life on a daily basis is absolutely fundamental. And I'm very aware that tomorrow is Valentine's Day, and so far so good. Nothing in the post to disturb my equilibrium. That is, no one sent me a Valentine's card, and somehow it feels good to know that that's the way it is. For me, every day is Valentine's Day. Every day is a birthday. Every day is just simply a new day. And if I'm open to the possibilities of what is happening in my life, and that I can be loved, and I can love back, and I can do something useful, then I have a starting point. And my expectations from this day are to be able to learn something about me and the world. Simple as that. And if something else happens, and I am open to inclusion, which means I need to change on a daily basis, then all to the good. But there were one or two comments yesterday about intimacy and relationships when I was in different meetings and over the last few days. And of course, if we are to form a relationship with another person, it does require intimacy emotionally first, so we get to know each other, and a change in how we live our lives. And one or two comments have been passed by others. I have a girlfriend in another country, or I have a boyfriend in another country, these things. And when we look at that, it's safe because intimacy is there to an extent for a short period, and then we can run away back to where we live, which means actually we don't change. All we do is remain the same. So in life, changes need to be put into practice. So it's easy to stay the same, but it's very hard to change our openness, inclusion, and be a part of. So we all learn how to do that, and it's not an easy process, as I know. And even when we have a girlfriend on the doorstep and have an intimate relationship in sobriety, which is absolutely wonderful, what we find is that our old black and white thinking can keep us stuck and arguing about what is right or wrong. And we're still looking for perfection, when in fact life is about developing and understanding. And if we have expectations that people are going to see the world as we do, we are deluded and we're in difficulty. So the good of that was I got a great relationship with a very wonderful lady, but we don't see eye to eye, but we do actually love each other, and we formed a great friendship. It didn't turn out to be a partnership, but in terms of friendship and love, something great happened. And how was that? Beyond my wildest dreams, actually. So anyway, I share daily reflections here, this book, literature, and it covers the 12 steps of action, 12 steps of action for an individual to take to try and get open, honest and willing to change. And step 2 is February. And it says here for February 13th, we can't think our way sober. To the intellectually self-sufficient man or woman, with expectations in my case, or used to, many AAs can say, yes, we were like you, far too smart for our own good. Secretly, we felt we could float above the rest of the folks on our brain power alone. Yeah, well, mine failed, my brain power, that was. I had to come back to my emotions, which are the basis of life. Even the most brilliant mind is no defence against the disease of alcoholism. I can't think my way sober. I try to remember that intelligence is a God-given attribute that I may use. A joy, like having a talent for dancing or drawing or carpentry. It does not make me better than anyone else, and it is not a particularly reliable tool for recovery, as I have found, for it is a power greater than myself who will restore me to sanity, not a high IQ or a college degree. And goodness me, did it take me a long time to realise that once we understand our feelings and emotions and where we're going, and that we can be honest and open and trust to the wisdom we learn from other people, then we have a higher power in our lives. Simple as that for me. Anyway, Valentine's Day coming up, and it's okay by me. At the end of these videos, the serenity prayer to acceptance of now. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. For me is always just for today.